Now, did the commission give timelines to these distribution companies when they bought pieces of the PHCN? Because as far as Nigerians are concerned, power in the last 4 years has been worse than when they had PHCN. Did the commission give them any timelines as to what they should achieve at what point? 4 years on, what progress have they made?
Definitely. We have, performance agreements built into the various contracts given to the distribution companies. And I can assure you that the Commission is using its orders and regulations, putting pressure on the distribution companies. A lot of sanctions have been going on, and we have as at recently, given them a mandate, for instance, about the metering issue, that they should, by March 1st, all of the MD customers, for instance, within in the country are supposed to have been fully metered 100%. So those are part of the targets given to them. And of course, you find that, if we look at the situation, what happened in the past is because of the expectation. The expectation has been high, for, the private sector coming in and ensuring that, there is, efficiency brought in. But I can assure you that the Nigerian Regulatory Commission is on top of its game and putting pressure. We, again, have to emphasize that there is a lot of investment required, and macroeconomic variables to have upturned some of our projections in terms of meeting, the needs of the sector. But we are glad that, of course, things are stabilizing a little now, and of course the distribution companies too would, be up and doing in terms of response to the customers.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to Dr. Arigu in a moment. Let's bring in the distribution companies here. So he says you were given timelines, but so far you're still working with estimated billings. Why? And how come you're not meeting the timelines that he says were factored into the contracts you signed?
Thank you very much. There were baseline issues before the contracts were signed. BP was handling the privatization exercise. There were things promised in that baseline
which were not delivered,
which had not been delivered. I'll give you some examples.
Till today?
Yes, I'll give you some examples. For example, if you look at the MITO, because when we were taking over, it was assumed that tariff would be cost reflective. Till we speak, tariff has not been cost reflective. Even the tariff that MITO 15, which is the last tariff, is not effective because Manufacturers Association of Nigeria took neck to court. Of course, joined all the discourse to the effect that there was an injunction. So even if we bill, they don't pay.
Hold on, you want to increase billing before you increase power? Is that what your plan
No,
is?
the signature regulation that was given was that tariff will be cost reflective.
Okay.
Whatever that was, before tariff will be increased.
Before tariff?
Yes.
Were there other things before tariff?
No,
was tariff the number one promise from the government?
Well, this is a money business. If you are inviting private sector to take over an asset that has been so dilapidated, of course, private sectors are not foundry managers or people to manage.
Why I'm asking that question is so that let's be sequential. You are taking over something from someone who had, in quote, ran it down.
Yes.
So you want to raise it up. So what were the agreements you signed?
That's what I'm saying.
Is it tariff first, or there were things you were supposed to do before tariff comes on? No.
Tariff was part of it. There was no timeline at which point tariff will come in or not come in. What was signed for, they had a database. The BP had a data room. And everybody that went to the data room is looking at what will be the revenue and what will be the requirement for the revenue. So it's a private sector development. Government still has 40%. So when these things were taken over, the assumptions in the data room were that one, which was used even for the MITO. MITO is the multi-year tariff. Is the fact energy will be at about 5,600 megawatts. That is number one. Because tariff is also based on ability to recover the capital that you have used. The power will be like 5,600 megawatts on a regular basis. That had not been achieved. So that had affected the revenue flow, which is creating the funding gap that you have in the sector. For example, if I go by what NERC promulgated, the forecast for like Ibadan, DISCO, is about 13.1 billion revenue. But what do we get? We get something in the range of 5.4. So already there's a shortfall.
Mr. Ayodele,
yes.
We read in the papers, I think last week or so, that government agencies were the ones who owed these DISCOs the most. So if you allow government offices to use power for free, that is your headache, not our problem.
Yes.
They are owing you billions. You sat down, you were giving them power all the time, and they were incurring bills of billions, and you were still giving them power.
Yes.
That's your problem.
Yes, I'll give you the reasons why sometimes it's difficult to cut those government agencies. These government agencies include university teaching hospitals. It includes army barracks. You cut army barracks light for any reason, you know what the repercussion will be.
So there are
what's the repercussion?
Yes, they are not paying, but we have suffered a lot of fatalities as a result of that. And government says, don't worry, we will pay. Government is addressing the issue.
Okay.
For example, if you look at all the total MDA debts, that is ministries, departments, and agencies, what they are owing by the loan is about 6 billion. But government says they are going to, they have not, I know there are processes
so
on.
6 billion, what you're supposed, you said what you were supposed to be getting, estimates
13 billion.
was 13 billion.
Yes,
so government alone is owing you 6 billion.
No, in the sector, if you look at what we have been owing over, because if you allow me just 2 minutes, I'll roll over how the funding gaps have been coming.
Okay.
For example, if you look at we have been invoiced money, invoice from MBET and MO. They also sell power to the DISCOs. And DISCOs use the power they sell to the public.
Okay.
So what they sell to me, to Ibadan, is invoiced as 5.4, including Forex that has changed from 197 to about 310 naira. But that Forex difference, I'm not allowed to pass through, because tariff has not been adjusted accordingly. So when you look at the funding gap that is there, a lot of them, they are due to the fact that what you charge me, I cannot even pass around. They give me bill of 5.4, I cannot bill 5.4 as input into the company, and I can only bill about 4.8, which means that the total energy I could be 4.8. So already, even if I collect 100%, of the revenue, I still have a shortfall of over 1 billion.
Okay,
now,
so
take it back, Mr. Ayodele,
Yes.
to where you started,
Yes.
which was the issue of tariff,
Yes.
the cost to the consumer. But I'm sure when the investors were buying these parts of PHCN,
Yes.
they knew exactly what they were buying. That Nigerians will not agree to pay a penny more for power not supplied. If you give them power for only 1 hour a day and you want to increase tariff on that 1 hour, they're going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that you don't succeed.
Tariff is not based on per hour. Tariff is based on aggregating the entire cost of supply electricity in the entire value chain. So what we pay for in terms of tariff is not whether it is number of hours. Now let me explain something to you, because that had been an issue when the issue of fixed tariff was kept there. Whether you have electricity or you don't have electricity,
you pay.
You pay. Fixed tariff is embedded in generation cost.
Okay, Mr. Ayodele, fixed tariff. We'll come back to that
Yes.
after this short break.